And that's why he just got a divorce, and he's still the wealthiest man in the world. I don't know if you read up on that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she settled for like $4.5 billion or something. I mean, man, good job. I mean, he got a divorce, and he's still the wealthiest man in the world. That's the ability to scale.
That's right.
So it was really, really interesting. But man, anything else you want to share? Anything you feel you missed in the presentation?
One thing, I was talking to Jacob yesterday, and we were kind of talking about how people in your life, your friends and family that don't have that abundance mindset or don't have that entrepreneurial mindset are constantly going to pull you back to where you were. And that's not what you should be doing. And I kind of ended the presentation and alluded to this and said that you're the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you think about who you're talking to every day, who do you spend your time with, and those people aren't thinking bigger, how do I get my business to self-manage? If you're not spending time with people who think that way or want to do that, then you are going in the other direction. You're not evolving, you're dying. If you don't evolve, you die. So, or you just stay in the same place forever. So, and then the other thing he and I were talking about was, is it wrong to want to have millions of dollars? Well, I say it's selfish to not, because if you don't have a whole bunch of money, then you can't help a whole bunch of people. I want to impact 1 billion people in a positive way in my lifetime. I can't do that without some money to do that. So if I stay in a bucket that I'm only making 100,000 or 60,000 a year doing some job, I can only do so much. But if I can make millions of dollars, you'd be like, isn't Bill Gates giving away half or all his wealth by the time he dies or something like that? He's feeding hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of poverty-stricken children all over the world. That's just a really cool thing. But you can't do that unless you create the means to do so. So I think I'm not saying any of those things should be everybody's goal, but the whole idea is when you start to make more money, you have more choices, and you can make a lot more choices that you weren't able to make before. So that's what you're ultimately trying to get to when you're growing your business. Always think about, how can I 10 times where I'm at right now, and spend time thinking about that as much as you can, because you'll start to see the path, I think.
Yeah, I recently called my inner circle a lot. I had a phrase, went to the dog track with a friend, and come to the conclusion that, this is way back when, that you can't run an A race with a C dog. The C dog is just, it knows it can't run the A race, so it's trying to bite the other dogs around it. It's just an uncomfortable experience for everybody. And I've really, in my own business model in real estate, I've called out some relationships that are long-term relationships, because over the years they've morphed into a C dog out of complacency, and here I'm the one suffering because of their complacency. And one thing that you said in your presentation, be slow to hire and quick to fire.
Yes.
I used to be that guy, and then I kind of got really complacent. And here lately, I'm very much back to being that person that if I'm sensing friction or unwillingness, I'm gone.
Right.
No interest in trying to drag somebody into doing something that they don't want to do, particularly if they don't want to do it